I'll wait for everybody to get on before I start talking. I need to turn down this light real quick too. It's a bit bright. Is that better? I feel like that's better. Okay. Gonna wait a minute for everybody to get on so we can chat. I'm gonna change the color of this too, I think. Is that better or worse? I can't decide if I like it or not. Okay. Hey everybody. So, hi Cameron. Hello, hello. Welcome. Which lighting is better? I can't tell because my phone. Hold on. There I go. Okay. Now I can tell better. I'm going to go back to the white light. There we go. Okay. Hey guys. So, yay. How are you guys? Okay. So, I want to talk about my red flags video. I get so much heat from that video, and it's so unnecessary because people clearly don't understand the intention behind it. I'm going to pull you guys a little closer. So I want to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay. So I made a video about red flags that your child could potentially be an offender, right? And I made that video talking about some of the things that I seen with Robbie. Sorry, my face is itching. And I want to talk about it, right? Okay. So people, I'm going to give you a analogy first. Thank you, Tyler. Okay. Some people eat cake, right? If you eat cake every day, it doesn't mean that you have a problem with food, right? You can eat cake literally every single day and it's okay. As long as you're counting your calories and you're being smart about it, you can eat cake every day. Now, imagine if you ate the whole cake every day, right? So you have somebody who eats the whole cake every day, they're gaining weight like crazy, and they complain because they're gaining weight, and everybody looks at them and they're like, that's because you ate the whole cake. You didn't just eat a piece of cake, you ate the whole cake, man. You can't eat a whole cake every day, right? Okay, so let's think about that with these red flags. When I'm talking about the red flags that I've seen with Robbie, I'm talking about he ate the whole damn cake, okay? So for those of you telling me these aren't red flags, first of all, I don't really care. Tell me whatever you want. It doesn't make you valid. I have talked to a state trooper who works with these type of perpetrators. I have talked with a licensed psychologist, actually 3 of them. I have spoken to a licensed psychiatrist, 2 of them, about this exact topic. Everything I seen as a red flag was a red flag for Robbie. When I talk about, I'm going to mute this. When I talk about the things that he didn't just do them in moderation. He did them in excess. So these things were things that he felt very, very passionate about and felt the need to take beyond a normal level. So when I do a live video, you guys have seen my puppies many times, and I talk to my puppies, and I love my puppies, right? So I'll be like, oh, you're so cute, little puppies. Like, come here, mommy loves you. Like, I love my little babies, right? I do. That's totally normal. Absolutely. I would agree with most people that that's absolutely normal. Now, when you talk to your puppy, if you talk to your puppy for 5 straight minutes saying, oh, I just love you so much, and you just keep kissing it and saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, and you kiss this puppy for 5 minutes and you just keep smooching it and your lips never leave the puppy, that does not ring a bell of normal. It's so important for early intervention. He didn't just eat a piece of cake. He ate the whole damn cake, okay? And I saw these red flags to the point that the dog was uncomfortable. When you pick up an animal and the animal has signs of depression around you, to the point that the dog is uncomfortable and no longer displays the happy I love you too, it's a problem. It's a real freaking problem. So the dog in question that I refer to, thank God I intervened when I did, because I recognized the red flags, not just for Robbie and his inappropriateness towards the animal that was very excessive, but also the dog was depressed. The dog no longer wanted to be around that person. And when that person would pick up the dog would curl up in a ball and put its tail down between its legs. The dog was clearly uncomfortable, and he felt just as uncomfortable as the rest of the living room did, to the point that we had to say, stop touching the dog. It's just getting weird and creepy. Come to find out, when he was in treatment, he admitted to harming the dog. So, do I make apologies for that red flag? Absolutely not. I saw the red flag. It was abuse. I saw the red flag. You're welcome. Look for these red flags. Don't sweep them under a rug. Don't pretend like they don't exist. Don't pretend like they're not happening. This stuff happens, people. It can go beyond the normal, oh, I love you, to I obsessively am loving on you, to the point that it's making people around me uncomfortable. Okay? So we're going to clarify that for everybody who didn't like my red flag video. The next red flag that I talked about was Robbie did not feel comfortable with the fact that his siblings would go to bed and they did not make it a priority to come and find him and give him a hug, that he would go out of his way to try and wake them up to get a hug. It's normal to be like, oh, they didn't hug me. That kind of sucks. Whatever. And then go to bed, right? But it's not normal to be like so upset and just overly dramatic to the point of needing to have that interaction. Not getting a hug is not that big of a deal in the long run. Do we encourage hugs? Do we encourage things? Absolutely. Totally normal. Totally normals. As for the hug situation, he used to be very obsessive when it came to hugging people, including his victims. I will not disclose his victims. However, it was a huge red flag. It was a red flag. I don't care if you don't see it as one. It was a red flag. It was in excess. It was over the top. It was so dramatic, constantly needing a hug, constantly needing physical touch. In that regard, giving people hugs, totally normal. Obsessing over hugging people, not normal. Obsessing over touching people, children, specifically younger than you, not normal. Just want to put that out there. If your kid is obsessively hugging their siblings, my brother did it to me. Yeah. We played Kissy Monster, right? Totally normal, right? Go ahead. Come at me. Not normal. Affection's totally normal when it's done healthy and in moderation. My children hug each other. They do. My daughters hug each other. If my daughter's around and she's just standing there, she'll come over and give me a hug just because she wants a hug. Totally normal. Being obsessive, needing a hug every couple minutes, not normal. To the point you make other people uncomfortable, not normal. When people are like, I don't need to hug you all the time, please stop hugging me, that's not normal. Okay? So we got that one. Okay, as you can tell, I'm a little irritated because I'm so sick of people saying that these aren't red flags. They're such red flags. Like, I can't. Okay, next, impulse control. It's normal for kids to lack some impulse control. It's normal for a child to sneak a piece of candy. It is. If you tell a kid no and they act out and then they go take the piece of candy, totally normal. I mean, kids do it. Come on. Kids do it. But when a kid makes it extremely, like, they're sneaky about it and they intentionally make every single move a power move, that's not normal. Children don't fight every decision a parent makes. It's not normal. Children challenge parents, and that's absolutely healthy. It's teaching them boundaries. It's helping them to understand why the boundaries exist. It's encouraging them to explore boundaries to a point that feels Like, okay, I'm pushing the boundaries a little. Maybe I'll get what I want. Maybe I won't, right? Totally normal. Kids do that. Kids also break rules. Totally normal. But when you have a child who never, never, never accepts the word no, never accepts the word no, stick with me here. It's not normal. It is not normal for a child to demand to be in control, so much so that he makes lists, hangs them up around the house, telling you the rules for each room you enter. The bathroom had a list of rules. The living room had a list of rules. The dining room had a list of rules. The kitchen had a list of rules because he had to be in control. He had to be in power. He was in control, or that's what he believed. So I would take his list and I would tear it down and I would say, this is inappropriate. You're not the parent. Stop making lists around the house. Stop doing it. You're not going to tell me what to do in my house. He was so angry about that, so uncomfortable. So every time we turned around, he was bossing a kid around. He would go over, micromanage all of the kids, telling them what to do, making sure they were following his rules. He would make notes and stick them in their bedrooms, in their doors, just to be in control of them, just to make rules. That is excessive, people. If you have a problem with me saying he had power and control issues, don't care. He did. Again, all of this has been discussed with many, many, many mental health professionals who all acknowledge these were major red flags. It is not normal for a child to have to be in control like that. When he was over at the great-grandmother's house, they allowed him to do these things. He made rules. He dictated what they did in each of their rooms. He made the rules. Like, that's great. That's fine and dandy. It's where he learned it. It doesn't make it appropriate. And it also still doesn't make the whole situation appropriate. I'm not going to apologize for my red flags because they were huge freaking red flags. It's not normal. Not normal. If your child demands to be in control, it is not normal. Back to the whole no thing. If I would tell him no, he would never accept the word no. He would to your face. He'd manipulate and be like, okay, I totally understand. You'd leave the room and he'd do whatever it was that he wanted to do. Every single time. Not like a normal child. Some children, okay, so like my one stepdaughter, she wanted to pierce her belly button. I told her absolutely not. I don't know, she was 13 at the time, I believe, and I said, there's no reason. You don't need to be showing your belly off. You don't need it pierced. I don't care if your friend got it pierced. You're not getting your belly button pierced. That's just not what I think is appropriate for a young woman. We talked about the whys and about the image that portrays, blah, 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 blah. So I leave. The next day, she has her belly button pierced with a rusty pin that she found in the basement just to spite me, right? Totally normal teenage crap. I was like, really? I was like, first of all, you did that with a dirty needle. Now you got to worry about infection. And that's not even a belly button ring. That's a tiny little needle. And you have like a dirty earring backing on that. Like, I can't even. Like, stop. And then she was like, whatever. So she didn't do it again, right? Defiant. Great. Normal teenage stuff. With Robbie, it was always, I don't take the word no, and I'm going to do it anyway. So when I brought up the example of, I told him no, he couldn't have the chocolate before bed, and that I was making chocolate chip cookies out of these chocolate chips or whatever. He woke up and snuck down in the middle of the night and ate an entire 2-pound bag of chocolate chips. That is excessive. Excessive. Do you hear that? 2 pounds. That's the Sam's Club bag, people. This is not like he got pissed off so he ate some chocolate chips. He made it a point to go down and eat 2 pounds of chocolate chips. I told him no, he could not have a cell phone. He stole my cell phone and he took it to school. I told him no, again, he couldn't have a cell phone after he stole mine, so he took another person at schools. I told him, hold on, Greta Rogers. Who's the troll? Okay, I think I got her. Hold on. Did I get the troll? Anyway. Okay, so this wasn't just like little things. This was literally everything. I would say like, no, he couldn't go on a bike ride alone. So he would intentionally go on a bike ride alone, which was really weird because he wasn't allowed to be by himself. And all of a sudden he had this new interest in going for a bike ride by himself. I told him absolutely not. He's not allowed to do that. So every time I would leave and go to the grocery store, he would go ride his bike alone because my husband didn't really see the issue in it. But I had seen some red flags that it was a little bit strange that he wanted to go on these bike rides alone, and he would like disappear, and then he would only be gone for like a little bit, and then he didn't really go very far, but he was gone for a while, and it didn't make sense. It just wasn't adding up. Something didn't feel right about it, and I am pretty spot on with my feelings. So if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. Come to find out, after he's been in treatment, he admitted that he had been going and doing public masturbation on these independent bike rides. So I forget exactly all the red flags of why the bike rides felt wrong, but they just felt wrong. And come to find out, he was looking at people in public and masturbating on these bike rides. So, I mean, like, they clearly weren't like a great idea. But there was just a lot of things that didn't add up, and they are definitely red flags. We're not disclosing a location. But yeah, so no, I make no apologies for my red flag video. What else red flags did I see? Oh, he was so dramatic. So dramatic. When I say so dramatic, I mean like over the top, like super effing dramatic, okay? And I brought up an example. People don't like my example, which is great. I don't really care. Here's me. Don't care. His drama was over the top. You splash him in the face with a teeny bit of water in the pool, completely on accident. You could be like 12 feet away, right? 12 feet away, accidentally splash him in the face with a little bit of water. He would flip out, start throwing like the temper tantrum of a toddler. Over the top, dramatic, flipping out on his siblings, scolding them, saying, listen here, girls, you're going to do this. You're not going to splash me in the water or you're both going to be in trouble. And he would be like parenting them. And I'm like, Robbie, what are you doing? Who's my troll now? Just name them for me and I'll block them. But anyway, over the top. Over the top. Like literally over the top. All of these tantrums. He fell on his bicycle and barely, he was older. He was not a baby. He was like 10, 11, 12. Old enough where you like, you're a boy and you don't care, right? He fell on his bike and he got like a little scuff on his knee and he started screaming and saying, oh my God, I can't walk, screaming. He can't walk, that he cut his knee wide open and that he did all of this. Okay, right? So then he tried to hide sometimes, but he wasn't allowed. He didn't have a bedroom door at the end because he was hiding things in his room and stuff. But anyway, back to this. So being over the top dramatic, being like, I got my leg wide open. I can't walk my leg. Oh my God. Freaking out, right? So I go over. It's not even barely bleeding. It's like scraped. And I said, get up now and walk your bike home. You are not dying. He's like, I can't walk. I can't. And I'm like, get up now. Right now. You're walking. Like, we're not doing this. Get up. So then he got up and he walked home like normal. And I'm like, for crying out loud, like I can't, like that was one of the first things I seen. That was one of the first super dramatic things. The next thing I seen, whenever I was still new being stepmom, he used to try to play like super drama for my husband. So I remember this one time where I went into his bedroom and I forget what he did. He stole something and he hid it in his bed and I found it. And I confronted him about it. And I said, you are going to go stand in the corner right now. Like, what you did is inappropriate. Give me the object. I gave it back to my son because it was my son's object. I forget what it was. I think it was a book or something. Something stupid. You know, normal kid stuff. But anyway, the normal kid stuff was fine. The reaction was not. And so I said, get downstairs right now. You're going to go stand in the corner for 10, 15 minutes. He said, no, I'm not. I said, yes, you are. I said, you just stole something. And in my house, we don't steal things. He goes, I don't care. I'm not going to stand in the corner. I said, yes, you are. Let's go. So I grabbed his hand and I said, let's go. And I went to like, you know, just grab him a little bit and be like, come on, and like be loving. So anyway, he threw himself on the floor. Started kicking and screaming with his legs and his feet. He's like, "Oh, I'm not going, get away from me," just screaming over the top. My husband comes in and goes, "Get off of him, what's happening, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm not doing anything, I don't know what he's doing." I was like, all I did was tell him to come downstairs and go in the corner. I don't know what he's doing. He was literally throwing himself on the floor like a toddler. And then my husband looks at him, he goes, "Get up right now, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I just stood there and I was like, is this real life? Like, is this really happening? Like, it was crazy. With the hose in the face. That's crazy if you like being sprayed with water and you're on the spectrum. It's very, very uncommon for somebody on the spectrum to like water in their face. So that's pretty amazing, actually, Tia. I want to just note that real quick because that's pretty awesome, because that's something that is very, very much a sensory issue. But anyway, yeah, so when he would get in trouble, he would just throw himself on the floor like a toddler. And this is at like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then he would get like this physical glazed over look sometimes in his eyes. Like, he wanted to be in control so bad that if I challenged him, so like he accepted me as mom within probably the first year. So then I remember at the end, these were some of the red flags I seen in the end that really concerned me. He did not like having to be watched, and he did not like when he got caught with things. So I had found out he took the iPad because it came up missing, right? So all the kids were like, "I have no idea where the iPad went, like it's been missing." Like, and I was like, somebody must have left it in the car and it got stolen. Like, I was convinced this thing had been stolen out of my vehicle. So then I was like, there's no way, like, the kids are that silly to leave it in the car and it gets stolen. But that has happened before. My son left the tablet in the car before and it got stolen. So I was like, well, maybe. And I asked Robbie, I said, do you know where the iPad is? And he wasn't even allowed on it at the time at all because he had snuck down into the basement. So I had gotten a smart TV for my husband. It was down in the basement in the man cave that I had made for him. I had no idea that smart TVs were capable of getting online. He went on YouTube and looked up porn, which he had previously looked up at his biological mother's house. So when I found out about it, I was like, oh, hell no. So that TV went, nope, no more TV. That's fine. So we disconnected the whole thing, took the cords, couldn't even like plug it in. It's fine. So if my husband wanted to go down and watch TV in the man cave, he had to take the power cord with him and plug it in. That's how we roll. So anyway, he was grounded off of all electronics. He wasn't allowed them. So because he got grounded off of electronics for inappropriately using them in my household, he decided he was going to steal the electronics. So then he stole the iPad. So then the iPad goes missing, and I'm like, he was so convincing. Like, he's so manipulative and convincing that if he told you no, you like wanted to believe him because he has such a good heart. Like, I do love this child a lot, but it doesn't mean that these aren't red flags and that they don't need talked about, because these are the things that people miss, and it's okay if you want to sweep it under the rug, but not really. So I'm going to put them out there, and it's okay. And we're going to talk about what I saw, and these are my red flags, and I don't care if people don't agree with me or not. But anyway, so he stole the iPad. So anyway, they were all outside playing. My husband was with them outside, and I decided it was time for me to go ahead and look through their bedrooms and see if I could locate the iPad. So he had it very nicely hidden in his room, and it was actually hidden in a really good spot, like in the closet, but I found it. And I also found this book, this little notebook, and it was also well hidden, and it had a whole bunch of emails and usernames. So the iPad had been missing for maybe like 5 or 6 days. And I found this book, and he had went on this iPad and created 3 separate social media accounts on Facebook, 3 separate emails, something, I forget, another social media thing. I can't remember exactly what it was now. But anyway, I was like, what the hell? So I started plugging it in on the iPad. He had changed and reconfigured the entire iPad. So he had signed out the kids, so I couldn't find my iPad. And he had reset the iPad, and then he put in his new Apple ID or whatever. So I sat down with him and I said, I found the iPad in your room. He's like, oh, I didn't know it was in there. I said, really? You didn't know it was in there? So he just straight out lied to my face, like straight out lying and like trying to manipulate. And I was like, okay, well, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to plug in your little usernames and your password, and we're going to see what you've been doing on this iPad, or we can have a conversation and you can be mature enough to like have this conversation. So then he told me like he was on there, but he didn't do anything. And yeah, he made a new username, but he didn't do anything. Well, that is when I found out in those 6 days, he created that Facebook so that he could try. At the time, he was 12 or 13. He's 16 now. But anyway, so at the time, he made a Facebook and tried to contact grown men who he thought was attractive. And also tried to contact other people. And he took pictures of himself shirtless for his profiles. And it was just sickening. And he admitted to later, which I did not find on the iPad, so he must have deleted them or hid it well, but he admitted to later sending pictures of himself to a grown man who he was talking to. And he also admitted to later, in those 6 days, he was trying to get the grown man to meet up with him, and the grown man and him were in the process of setting up a meeting, but that I had found the iPad and shut that down. So they weren't able to set up a meeting. So yes, these things for me have all been red flags. And for a child who can't handle the word no, that they take it to an extreme and then they lie and manipulate so well that you want to believe them, that is a huge problem. Your kids are probably great kids. Robbie is absolutely a great kid. It is terrifying, and I'm so glad that I found it. I think about that every day. And I make no apologies for these red flags for that exact reason, because I listened and I saw what I saw and I didn't sweep it under a rug. And so my son didn't meet up with this man, and God knows what that would have happened. Like what would have happened if they would have met up. Like I can't even think about it. So like people want me to like say that these aren't red flags and apologize for my red flag video. But no, I will never apologize for anything I've said, because everything I saw was a red flag. Every single freaking thing I saw was a red flag. Whether you want to accept it or you don't want to accept it, that's fine. But this is my kid. And when I saw this with my child, I acted. And I'm not going to lose my child because I refuse to accept that these things aren't normal, especially when they're taken to an extreme. And if your child has all of the red flags and they do them excessively or obsessively, it's probably not normal, and it's time to start digging and looking and asking questions. Like, I am sorry that some people don't want to accept that as truth. Like, I'm sorry for that. I'm not sorry that I saw the red flags. For me, it's just so frustrating. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, Katie. I'm pretty sure that's a dig at me, but quite frankly, I'm not doing that. So anyway, you're welcome. Anyway, so like for me, I'm not going to apologize for my red flag video, but I did want to make a new video, and I decided to do it live just because it was easier. But I wanted to address the red flags because I'm sick of getting the silly comment that these things are normal, when in fact they are not normal. Like, yes, it's normal to love your animals. It's normal to be cute with them for split seconds or even up to like a minute, but 5 to 6, 7 straight minutes, not normal. When your child can never, ever, ever handle the word no, that is not normal. When your child is manipulative and controlling, that is not normal. When your child tries to make the rules and dictate how everyone else around them lives their life because they need to be in control and in power, that is not normal. I'm never going to say that those things are normal. They're not normal for me. I recognize them as not normal. They were not normal for my situation, and I have no regrets about identifying them and taking them to a licensed psychiatrist and a licensed psychologist. I didn't just decide, oh, these are concerns and I think I'll address them independently. I went to mental health professionals and worked with them to address these situations, and that's what I did. So I really can't stress enough that I'm sure these aren't all the red flags. These are the things that I've seen as red flags. These are the things I've seen as red flags. I There's a lot more red flags, I'm sure of it. It's really difficult, however, to find red flags about children who are the perpetrators. Like, it's very difficult to see or find any red flags. Like, I searched for red flags when I was in the situation, but finding red flags of children who are offending on children, nearly impossible. It's easy to find what an adult would do, or like what an adult who doesn't live in the household would do. Those are easy red flags. Those are things that are easily talked about, but that's not what I went through, and that's not what my channel was set up to do. It's not normal. No, it's not normal. Is somebody else being a troll? Oh, okay. I guess maybe CG is weird. I don't know. They put it out there, not me, right? But anyway, I don't care about trolls. It cracks me up because trolls make themselves look bad. I literally will never apologize for the things that I saw and the decisions that I made, because it could have been so much worse. In general, offenders will have 70 victims. 70. 70. Think about that. Yes, he had 2 victims. No, they weren't on my watch. They were at his biological mom's house before we got CYS to take away any rights from her. It's so frustrating because I think about that too. And my husband and I both think about that. And we're like, if we would have just like put our foot down, and like my husband should have just like let them take him to jail for violating the custody agreement. Like, and we think about that every day. And he has so much guilt with that. Like, he's literally like, I wish I would have just listened to my gut and listened to you. He's like, I was so worried about like going to jail, and every time we didn't let them go, then he thought about like he was going to end up in jail. They would always tell him that they'll arrest him and he'll go to jail for violating a court order. But honestly, like, we look back and like my stomach flips in thinking, it just, I don't know, the whole thing frustrates us because my husband's like, I should have just went to jail. I think the dog just went pee-pee on the floor. Yeah, he sure did. We have 2 puppies, and they are potty training. Rick, I'm doing a live. But anyway, the dog must have peed on the floor. It's okay. They have accidents. Happens probably like 6 times a day. My husband is not a dog person, however, very much. Yeah, that was Rick. He was yelling at the puppy. He said, get outside, because he was trying to stop her from peeing. But Athena just peed on the floor. So he was trying to get her to stop mid-pee. And I was just letting him know I was on a live so that he wasn't loud. But anyway, now we can chat. If you knew what Robbie did in regards to a sexual offense, would you have turned him in? Yeah, we did turn him in. Yeah, we found out and we turned him in. Get puppy training pads. We have them and they don't pee on them. It's so frustrating. I don't know what that means. It's just Jenny. Maybe elaborate. She passed away from, the autopsy's not back yet, but drugs were involved. Whether it was suicide or an overdose, we're really not sure. Aw, ours are St. Bernards, and they are super sweet. I just see more frustrating. He's so good. Okay. So anyway, so now that we've talked about the red flags, okay, I do want to talk about where he's at now. And I will say this, it has been a struggle for 2.5 years with Robbie and seeking treatment and getting him the right treatment. Now, when Dr. Phil got Robbie help at the Wilderness Program, that was a huge wake-up call for Robbie. And the reason the program did not become successful for him was because he refused to conform. Somebody come down here and clean this up. Sorry, my husband's calling for the kiddos for the puppy accident. Yeah, well, they agreed, so when we agreed to get the puppies, they said, we'll take care of them. We promise, they're our dogs. We'll take care of them. So my husband's been doing a good job. Me, not so much. But my husband's been doing a good job at holding them accountable and like having them clean up after the puppies so they can learn responsibility when it comes to taking care of the puppies. But me, sometimes I just clean it up. Oh, he pooped on the floor. She pooped on the floor. I'm obsessed with your channel. Thanks. Okay, well, he's not going to smoke pot, so stop with that. Anyway, so when he went to this wilderness program, he had to pack a backpack. He had to hike so many miles a day. He had to make his own food. I'm on a live. What's up?
Oh, well, we were gonna use the whistle thing because that's what we had to clean this up.
Okay, is it in the carpet or is it just was on top of the carpet?
It's on top of the carpet, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that's fine if you guys have to use the whistle. It's not the end of the world. People on my live will deal with it and they'll love it anyway. They want the puppies to have a good life. Try puppy treat, see if it works. We could. They're just very, very new. They grew up on a farm, the puppies. Anyway, okay, so at this program, so he had to cook his own food. He had to carry his backpack. He had to like shower in a little booth thing. It was like camping outdoor in the desert. Anyway, he hated it because he was always like very, very entitled, and they have like such, like in this house, like even though my kids have restrictions, they have a very, very good life. I'm sorry if that's loud. I'm going to try and talk over it. Okay, we're still not doing marijuana. He is in a state program, so that's not an option. So please, let's just stop talking about it. If people don't respect my wishes on my channel, then I just end up blocking you, and that's not what I want to do because you could be somebody I really want on my channel, but I also ask people to respect my boundaries. But anyway, okay, so in this house, like, they could shower whenever they wanted to. So if they wanted to shower every day or twice a day sometimes, like, they could shower. It was fine. So there, he had to shower on a schedule, and he had to shower, and he had to use these little pellets that turned into a washcloth. I'm sure you've seen them at, like, the dollar stores. So they had to use those. And when they went to the bathroom, they had to go bury it and dig a little hole to go to the bathroom. I mean, this was literally like a you got nothing. In this house, he always had clean sheets, a clean bed, clean clothes, more clothes than he ever needed, more shoes than they ever needed. I mean, they have a pretty good life in this house, my kids. So it's okay, thank you. But yeah, so like we love thrift shopping, and it's like $2 to $3 for like a shirt, and you can get like American Eagle, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, my kids have tons of clothes. They love thrift shopping, and as long as I have the extra money, I don't mind them going. And especially on like 50% off days, you can get shirts for like $1. It's crazy. Most of my clothes are from there. I think the shirt's from there. I think this was $2. All my clothes are from there. That's how I have so many. Anyway, so in this house, he played baseball. He got, he had Under Armour cleats that a kid on his team had given him because he grew out of them. He got a bat and a helmet and a brand new glove. I mean, if my kids needed something, they always got it, you know? So going to like the other extreme, like a wilderness program where they were like, no, you don't, this is your food for the week. Like, sure, you can eat it all today. That's fine. If you want to eat your 2 pounds of chocolate chips, but they're gone for the week. Like, that's like what it was like. Not literally, they didn't give them chocolate chips, but they did give them trail mix. But like, they got an allotted amount of food. And if you ate it all in one day, then you didn't have anything for the rest of the week. And you had to cook your own rice. And then in order for you to pass certain parts of the program, you had to be able to pack up your backpack within 5 minutes. Well, he was lazy, and he did not want to pack up that backpack. He was like, no, like, I don't want any part in this. This isn't fun. I'm not packing up my backpack. So he was stuck in the first part of the program for like a month, and it should have taken 2 days. So he was stuck on that part. So he wasn't really progressing in the program because he was refusing to accept that he wasn't in control. And so he never really had accepted that during that program. Yeah, he wasn't terrified. He was just throwing a tantrum, basically. I came home, I kissed my bed, I kissed my shower, I wanted to kiss my damn toilet. That's funny. Yeah, no, it's not easy. And we actually have 3 cats and 3 dogs, so now they all have a pet. And the cats, so we built a tree that goes up into the ceiling. So the cats have tons of places to get away, like literally. And then the dogs are only allowed on the first floor as they're learning. And so the cats go on the second floor and get away from them all the time. So when he was non-compliant, I mean, there's nothing you can do other than you just basically, they isolated him and they would keep him, they would not like communicate with him or do anything, and he would refuse to hike. So like the entire group of people, so I think there was like 8 in the group or 10, and so he would refuse to hike, so they would have to sit there, and everybody, they would just let the other kids be like, look, you're holding everybody back because you're being this way, and they would just let the other kids like express themselves, not become physical. But the other kids were able to express themselves, and eventually he did start doing the hikes, but it took him a really long time to get his backpack. And then when he would write home to us, it was always, I hate this place, get me out of here, I'm not going to do the work, this is awful, this is not helping me, this is just punishment. And then he got like really angry, and then he would lash out and be like, I'm so mad at you guys, like I hate you guys, why are you doing this? And then the next time he'd be like, I love you guys so much, you're such good parents, I think I've completed everything I need to complete here, you guys can get me out now. And it was just kind of like, good night, Greta. And it was just kind of like the back and forth, you know, like hot and cold, how can I get them to get me out of here? And then at one point he tried to run away, but he was too lazy to actually run away, so he went and he hid under a tree nearby, and then they just ended up bringing him back to the group. But like the whole thing was really hard for him, so it wasn't necessarily the right program for him anyway. So when the program was like, he's not progressing and the show's not airing, so you need to kind of get your kid and figure out what the next course of action is, I was like, you know what, it isn't working. And so ultimately we did let the state go ahead and do what they needed to do, because we didn't have another option. The state had already said, this is the last chance we're giving you to get him help. The next step is we're going to force him into treatment. And so the next step was going with the state treatment. And so that's what happened. He was sentenced, and then he went into their treatment. Since he's been in that treatment, it's a lot more like the first treatment. So in the first treatment, they're given like rewards, and they get to get commentary with tickets and all sorts of stuff. So it's a lot like that. So he gets to get things at this store. And so he's back. So the second program made him appreciate the first program, and how he had so much more freedom in the first program. And so when he went back to a similar type program, he was just like, oh, okay, I would much rather be here. Okay, so for those of you who don't understand how he became entitled, okay, so biological mom had her grandmother and her grandmother's boyfriend watch Robbie very often, to the point that he was there almost every day, sometimes for days at a time. So when Robbie would be at home, bio mom also was very protective of him because he was different. So she treated him differently than she treated the girls. With the girls, she was very abusive. With Robbie, she was overly protective because she saw that there was some things that were different with him. So she never had him diagnosed with autism. I actually saw that as well when I came into the picture, and I took him to a specialist who specializes in autism. And that's when he was diagnosed first, was after I had met him. But there was just always something different about him. And so she didn't know how to necessarily deal with it. So she just always was like, okay, sure, you guys can take him. And so he was basically raised by the grandmother and the grandmother's boyfriend. And when he would go over there, they would just let him do whatever he wanted. And they would start the day with reading obituaries with him of the people in the neighborhood. They would take him to, every state has them. I don't know what they are, but they're like a club where you have to be a paid member to go to these bars. They would take him to those paid membership bars, and they would do all sorts of things that were just like, okay, like, I don't know, that's fully appropriate. But what was weird to me is how obsessed that man became with him, to the point of the two of them would sleep in the bed, and then the grandmother would sleep on the couch. And then to the point that, like, if we didn't give him, so after, like, I came into the picture, doing things as a family is very important to me, and I get that. Like, he was used to having all this control and being able to take Robbie whenever he wanted, but that's not how it works in my family. And yes, I changed the dynamic of the family, but I did it for the better of the family. My husband and his ex-wife had not done things really as a family for the last 3 years, because when they were together, there was an affair that occurred. She had cheated on my husband, and he tried to make things work with her, and in the end it just didn't work. And during those 3 years, they basically stayed together to try and co-parent in a way, because he was still working all the time, so they really didn't see each other. And so they kind of tried to stay together. So he continued to be like, yeah, sure, like, he can go to the grandparents' house, like, whatever. Like, he didn't really care. And what's up?
I found a pea spot here, and I want to clean it up before it blends in too much.
Are you okay?
I'm a little overwhelmed with the dogs. I want to clean this pea spot up before I can't see it there anymore.
I heard you.
Okay.
Just go ahead and clean it up, and then my people will be happy to be patient. I'm sure of it. But anyway, so being that he was always over there, they let him make, I'm sorry if that's loud, I'm going to try and shield you guys a little bit. But they always let him make those signs, hang them up whenever he wanted. They always let him pick what they were going to eat for breakfast, what they were going to eat for lunch, what they were going to eat for dinner. They let him decide what they were going to do for the day. They would let him dictate everything. They bought him a tablet of some form so he could make social media over there, and I told them that we were not okay with them making social media. So his entitlement and all of those things actually came from the great-grandmother's boyfriend and her, and that's how he became that type of person. They didn't want anything to do with the girls, so I know, we do have puppies. I'm sorry, you guys. He'll be done in just a second. But they didn't want the girls over there. For whatever reason, this man would make every excuse in the world why the girls could not be there. He would say, like, they're so terrible, they would act terrible, and he would get so overwhelmed and just say, like, no, they can't come here. Like, it's just Robbie. And so that for me was like a huge red flag as well. And so I put an end to that relationship because I didn't understand the obsession. And when I would try to make sense of the obsession, and when I would try to express my concerns to that man, he would then just get angry and tell me, like, I was the devil and that I'm an awful person trying to isolate. Yeah, it was a boyfriend of the great-grandmother. And he would just say, like, I was trying to isolate Robbie from the family and that I was an awful person and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think Robbie's entitlement is one of the biggest reasons why he offended, because he had not learned self-control. And so you guys ask many times, how could the biological mom be enabling and yet abusive? She was so different towards Robbie than she was the girls, and she didn't see him often. So when she saw him, she was like overly affectionate and like, I shouldn't say overly affectionate, but she was more like, oh, like, come here, it's okay, mommy will hold you, like, it's okay, what's wrong? Like, always just coddling him. And my husband wasn't allowed to roughhouse. And here's another dumb comment that I got today, right? So somebody said, dads shouldn't necessarily roughhouse with their kids, and their kids shouldn't be forced to roughhouse. That's just wrong and abusive. Okay, obviously, to an extent, that's abusive if your kid, like, has no interest in roughhousing and you're forcing them to do it. Okay, fine. But that wasn't the case. He was never allowed from birth. And so, it's just Jenny. She's not trying to do that. She's trying to bring, hold on. What did I miss? It's just Jenny. He thought that was okay because people let him have control. Yes, that's exactly why. I must have missed a comment. No parent should have to deal with this. Oh. I understand that you're trying to bring awareness to the situation, but it seems as if you're going out of your way to verify behaviors that do not necessarily make sense. Okay, so were you on? It's just, Jenny, were you on at the beginning whenever I went through all of this? Because that is when I talked about the red flags. These aren't the red flags that I'm talking about anymore. I'm just talking about situations that people have asked me questions about at this point. But no, the red flags are definitely red flags. If you didn't get a chance to see the beginning of the video, I would encourage you to go back and rewatch it, because I talk very in depth about the things that I feel are red flags, and I make no apologies for saying that they're red flags. The things I'm talking about now aren't red flags. They're red flags in the man that I think might have created a lot of these issues for Robbie. And in my heart, I think that was an inappropriate relationship for sure. And I don't think it's normal for any grown man to be obsessive over a child, to the point that when we stopped the relationship, he was driving past our home, calling our son over to the vehicle if we weren't outside with them. It was just inappropriate. It was in excess. There was no reason for him to be driving past our home, like no reason whatsoever. If we as parents say the relationship is over, then the relationship is over. You're not even a family member, like you're nobody. And for him to drive past our home and lure him over, it was just so inappropriate. And then he would write letters and say, okay, fine, if we can't have him, then let him learn maturity and become a man and come over and mow my grass and I'll pay him. He would write us letters and stuff. Like, it was so weird. And it was like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, he can mow anybody in the neighborhood's grass except yours. Like, not happening. Stop asking. Like, it was just so inappropriate. And we have all the letters from him. And I have all the police reports where I had to file police reports because this man just kept showing up at our house over at the stop sign, luring our children to his car, to the point that Robbie would run in the house and be like, Mom, he's at our house again. He's trying to get me to come over to the car and I feel so uncomfortable. What do I do? And I would start going outside and all of a sudden he would drive off. It was so convenient. Like, I make no apologies for how I feel about this man. If I thought that there was any chance in my mind that there wasn't something weird about that relationship, then I wouldn't talk about it. But in my mind, with all of the things that have happened, I will never let that go until I know the truth of that relationship. I think that something happened before he was age 5, which is why Robbie prefers children ages 5 and under. Specifically males, based off of facts and what I've read about offenses. He was likely to be offended on under the age of 5 by a male, which is why he prefers victims of that age. He has no memory of it. Do I believe that changes it for me? No, because as a victim myself, there's a lot of things that you stuff down there and you have all these memories that you have no memory of. And then all of a sudden one day they might come flooding back, or you might have little glimpses of things that you can't make sense with. So yeah, so the whole situation is weird. Oh, and he used to be a police officer. And he also, from what I understand, I'm not 100% positive about this. And I'm also not positive about the police officer thing. I'm 99.9% positive because I was told by my husband, I believe. But anyway, I'm not positive on this information, but I was told he worked in special victims units for those types of offenses. I don't know if that's true or not, but if that's true, that just makes me even more concerned, like even more concerned. But I don't hold on to that, and that's not something I know for fact, but the things I do know for fact are things that just bother me so much. When he offended, he was like 12. So yeah. And the reason he offended was because at his biological mom's house, bio mom was allowing him to look up porn on her cell phone freely. And then stepdad bought him porn magazines. So then Robbie, not having self-control, took these magazines. He went to his victims and he said, oh, look at these books. This is what I'm going to do to you. You're going to let me do it, or I'm going to tell on you for other things and you're going to get in trouble. And you don't want that with your parents. So this is what's going to happen. So then he took what was handed to him and was like, oh, this looks really good. I think I want this. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this today. And that's what happened. And that pisses me off. It makes my husband so angry. Ultimately, karma got him. The stepdad's in jail. He'll be in there for at least 20 years. And bio mom is no longer living. And so ultimately, God answered prayers and handled the trauma, because after that happened, after the porn situation, they did get taken from bio mom because she tried to kill her husband. So yeah, like the whole situation was bad. Biomom clearly has had some mental health issues going on of her own, and lost custody of them for that reason. But ultimately, God played it out and did what he felt he needed to do to protect our children. And I'm thankful for that. But it was definitely a really hard road. Yeah, Biomom did not help with the entitlement. So when we don't talk a lot about the bestiality or whatever, but I don't really care to hide it. And Robbie knows I've talked about it some. And if he thinks if it can help people, then it will help people. That's awesome that they got 75 years. But anyway, when it comes to the animal, it wasn't that, so being on the spectrum, Robbie doesn't fully comprehend or understand things. Robbie identifies as bisexual. And the way the whole dog situation came to be was he wondered if he would like sex with a male. He didn't look at it as an animal male or a human being male. And he didn't actually have sex with the animal, just to clear this up. But he did offend the animal. And it didn't stem from the idea of him liking animals. It stemmed from his curiosity because it was a male animal. That doesn't make it okay, and I'm not saying or downplaying it. And that's really difficult for me to talk about. But I accept and understand what happened when it came to that situation. And then after he had the experience, it made him feel like he liked it. And when he wrote me a disclosure letter, it was the hardest thing ever to read. But it had nothing to do with being exposed to animals or desiring animals, because ultimately he doesn't have a desire for animals. And he also doesn't have only a desire for children 5 and under. He also has a desire for older men. And so it's very confusing. The whole thing is so confusing. But he's made serious progress at this point in that type of thinking. And he has recognized that if he's not around the children, that he doesn't have, I actually have a book. I just have to release it. But it's not about Robbie. He's a small part of my book, but it's honestly a book about my life. Yeah. Do you think maybe he's more forthcoming about fantasies than normal people? I don't think he is with everybody. Yeah, so he identifies as bisexual, so yes, he is attracted to women as well. Not so much women as girls, but yes, to a degree, but mostly men. This is so hard to talk about. I'm sorry. I didn't expect to go here tonight. I say a lot. I get told that and people hate it. I can't help it. It's really awkward when you don't have the right words, and when you talk about something really super freaking hard. I don't even remember what I was talking about. Sorry. I just need a second to breathe. Because it's hard. It's hard. Thank you. I love you guys all so much too. If I didn't think our story could help other people, and I didn't see how many people it's helped, I wouldn't even be here having these conversations, because these aren't easy conversations, right? They're not typical conversations. They're not your normal or usual conversations. And I understand that some people are here because they think it's funny or dramatic or they're trolls. That's fine. But we have helped so many kids. Even last week, at this point, I've had hundreds of kids reach out to me telling me about abuse that's going on at home with them and just needing a voice, or yeah, sometimes trauma makes you blank for sure. But so many kids have come to me and I've been able to help get them some resources or help them to learn the laws in their state so that they can start seeing a therapist. Some of them don't even realize that all they need is their little ID card out of their mom's purse or out of their wallet, and they can do online video without their parents ever knowing, with a licensed therapist or a psychiatrist, and they can get themselves help at this point. With COVID, it's actually a blessing for some of these kids because they can get online therapy with their insurance and they don't need parental permission. And if you're one of those kids watching, you can get help. There's options for you to get help. And if your parents are part of the problem, then you can still get help. I was 16 years old. I was abused and I had to get help on my own, and my parents didn't know I saw a therapist and a psychiatrist. So for me, that saved my life. Like, I don't think I'd be here today if it wasn't for being able to have a support system at school. My principal, if days were just too hard, I would just leave. I mean, I missed most of my senior year, like half days, because I couldn't make it through the day. It was so painful. When I moved back in with my biological mom, she moved in my abusive boyfriend. And that was really hard. And had I not known that I could go see a therapist and a psychiatrist without my parents' permission, like, I don't think I'd be here. So if it's the difference of somebody reaching me because I'm sharing my story and letting people know that there's hope and help out there, then I will share my story 100 times over, because we're making a real difference and you guys are part of that. Like, without your support and your love, this channel would never exist. It wouldn't continue to grow. And the real goal in this channel is reaching victims and reaching children who don't feel like they have a voice. And there's kids that I've accepted who are like over 18, and I'm like, I've accepted them as my own, and I'm like, I talk to them every day. I check in with them every day, and I'm like, I'm here. Like, don't hide from me. Like, what's going on? And I have like regular people that I've met through this channel who I will never abandon. Like, it's something that's so important to me, and that's why I stay focused on my channel, because I don't ever want to miss one person. Like, you're all so important. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up. Thank you guys. It's hard. He's not possessed, so we're not going to have that discussion on my channel or you get blocked. You get one warning on that subject. He had brain mapping done. It showed dysfunction in the frontal lobe as well as misfires throughout the brain, which showed that he would be somebody who is entitled, somebody who is controlling, somebody who doesn't think about consequence, somebody who thinks about the reward versus any consequence when making decisions. It showed misfiring. I get that they have a good point, but there's medical explanations for his behaviors. And yes, he's been prayed over, people. So again, we're not going to have these discussions because we are religious people, but I'm not having a religious discussion on my channel. It's not happening, or else you get blocked. So there's that. I've had these discussions. You don't think the whole world is praying for him, or that he hasn't been prayed over, or that he hasn't seen a priest? Like, no, it's not helpful at this point. We've literally tried everything. Anyway, but yeah, so back to what I was saying is, I just want to make sure I got okay, now that that's dealt with. But this channel is so much bigger than like our story. How is that person still even commenting? You're doing so much for so many people. An immediate family member was abused by parents, didn't believe her. Do you know how many people have come forth? Your name's funny. Meow, meow. So many people have come forth and shared their stories with me where they tried to go. So there's a child specifically who actually doesn't live far from me. And if I knew where he lived, I would go there in a heartbeat. I would beat down that door and I'd be like, listen, Mom, like, I don't care if you want to accept this or not, but your kid came to you and told you that their older sibling abused them and you did nothing. Like, there are stories I've heard and I've reported them, and so they ultimately do get discovered because I report it to the police. But there are children who have come to me, told me they went to their parents and their parents did nothing, swept it under a rug. They were victims themselves, and they talk about it, and they talk about like what it did to them and how it makes them not want to live, and it makes them feel dirty. It makes them feel like just complete garbage. And those kids, I've been able to get help. I've been able to get their voice heard. Their parents didn't do that for them, and shame on them. Like, that makes me so mad. And when I told my mom, she was like, you need to get over it. You're 22 years old. Like, that's part of your past. Like, you can't hold on to things. You need to let it go. And then she decided to tell me a story of how she was sexually offended on as a child by her grandfather and how she just had to get over it. Well, clearly she didn't get over it. And that's why she wasn't able to be a good mother. And I understand that now, and I forgive her for her flaws. I do. Because I understand that, like, how could you live with that secret and burden and pretend to be okay your entire life? Like, people aren't just okay after those things. But, like, for me, like, this channel has helped so many people. So many freaking kids have got their offenders reported, and their offenders are now facing charges or in jail. And I know for fact, I've followed up. The police can only tell me so much, but I have to make official statements. And I told them I would go to any court hearing. I don't care where you live. I'll spend my own damn money. I don't care. I will be there. So any child that feels like they don't have a voice or needs help, please reach out, because I'll be there. Like, I'll be the one that shows up. I don't care if I'm your mom. Like, no child should have to be offended on ever. And it makes me so angry. I'm sorry that happened. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. How many parents just sweep it under a rug? And you can't just push it down and it go away, for sure. I had to face it head on. I had to relive all of it so that I could move forward, and I was able to forgive the person who offended on me. And I really do forgive him. And ironically, I still love that person. I still wish him well. I hope he has a life just full of love and success, and I just hope that God changed his heart and that he understands the things he did as a child. I don't believe he went on to be an offender as an adult. I do believe that it came from a place of trauma during my childhood. I don't think it was malicious. I think that it came from a place of just, we had such a messed up life at the time. Tyler, I'm sorry. Parents sometimes can suck. What did I miss from a Billy? It says, Billy, please reach out to a trusted adult for help. I don't see a comment from a Billy. Robbie's definitely trying to break the cycle, and he told me straight out. He said, I don't want to hurt people. And I said, I know. I don't know. Okay, I see your comment, Billy. I'm sorry that happened to you, and I hope that you're not a child. But if you are, or if you're an adult, please feel like you can reach out. Anybody who needs to have their voice heard or just needs to talk about it, reach out. I am never too busy that I will ignore any one person. I will always get back to you, whether it's a couple days from now or a couple hours from now. I can't promise. It depends how you get a hold of me. I'm a lot faster on Facebook than I am on Gmail. Sorry. I mean, look at all you guys. Like, let's talk about this stuff. Like, nobody talks about it. I'm sorry that happened, Rebecca. That is really messed up. You definitely should have confided in a therapist because that could have helped you in court. And people get such bad advice all the freaking time. Of course, you're still going to be emotional. That shit doesn't go away. Like, what horrible advice. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Oh, wow, Jasmine. Jasmine, I love you. I just want you to know that I love you. And you are a hero and a warrior and a survivor. And you are an amazing human being. And God had so much more planned for you than that situation. So you survived for a reason. And I'm so blessed to even have you on my channel and to hear your strength, because that is incredible. And I don't think anybody's probably ever told you that. But I am proud of you. And I love you. And I think you're incredible. And you were meant for so much more than you received, and you're supposed to share your story, which you just did, and you'll help people. Oh, I'm not doing this. I'm 22 now, but one of my offenders is in jail. At least one of them is. I mean, that's a start. The puppies are entering the room. This could get dangerous. They like to knock my camera around. What I think about a lot of the thousands of children and adults being abused in trafficking rings as we speak. I know. I think about that too. I think about, like, I wish we could save everybody, right? But I also know that they're St. Bernards. They're so bad. If they come in, I'll show you them. I always put them on camera. They're so cute. Okay, that's great, Lisa, but we're not doing it. Anyway, but we can help some, and we've helped hundreds of children. I've worked with so many different police from all over the world. I've reported so much abuse. It's not even funny. I've been able to give kids voices. I've been able to advocate for them. And they're actually starting CASA in my county soon, and I'll be a CASA, which is basically it's a child advocate for victims or even perpetrators for children, and it's just you get to advocate for them. It's an unpaid position, and I'm going to do it full time. Any cases that come up, I will be happy to volunteer my time and fight for kids. My mission is to focus on my social media so that I can focus my 40 hours a week on being able to advocate for kids who otherwise don't have a voice, or the kids who are in foster care because their parents didn't believe them, or, you know, all of those kids. They need somebody who's on their side, who's like, yeah, let's fight this. Like, let's do this together. Like, I got you. And I will be that person every time. It is so hard for me because if I could just tell you all the stories that I've been told, all the things that I've been told, like, it's so hard. It's so hard. I don't know what happened there. Okay, I fixed it. I can definitely handle those people. They're irrelevant. Okay, so a CASA is unpaid, a GAL is paid. I would happily accept a GAL position. I don't know if I'm eligible for it without being a CASA first. The program hasn't started yet, so when it starts, I'll definitely look into both. I think it would be wonderful to dedicate the rest of my life to helping victims, and I would love to go in that direction. I'm just not fully sure how to do that yet, but once the program starts, I'll definitely know more. Even if I need to go back to school to help victims, child victims, then that's what I'll do. So I'm sorry, Miss Riss. Those are the stories that I'm fighting for now. And I don't know if you're a child. I can't remember exactly what it stands for. You'd have to look it up. I can't think right now. I'm sorry. My brain is so tired. I didn't expect to like get emotional. Thanks, guys. I love you all. So CASA's supposed to start coming into 2021. When I reached out to them was when our episode aired. So that would have been September. End of September, I think I reached out to them, and they said in 3 to 4 months that the program would be starting here. So hopefully in the next month or two, as soon as I start, I can't talk about the cases, obviously, but I'll let you guys know. And it's definitely, thank you, something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is. You'd have to, here, I can look it up on my laptop. How old do you have to be a CASA? I think 18. Court-appointed special advocates. Yeah, I think it is court-appointed special advocates. I'm sorry. I legit am like blanking in my mind right now. My brain hurts. Yes, it's a court-appointed special advocate. So thank you. Don't overdo it. I'm not overdoing it. I just didn't see this going here after talking about the red flags. I talked about the red flags because I was so frustrated by people telling me that they aren't red flags, and then that's exactly what they were. So I was really frustrated at the beginning of this live. Good job. That's awesome that you've been clean for 2 years. Keep on that path. And anytime you feel a moment of weakness, just remind yourself that you overcame that and that you're better than that. Like, choose to just keep on going. No, you don't need college education for the position necessarily. Each state has different advocates, but you would have to take a class or a course and be well versed to be able to be an advocate, because you would need to know like certain parts of the law so that you could make proper recommendations and properly advocate for a victim. So like, it's great. Everybody, I think, would want to stand up for a victim. But it's just, I don't think everybody could do it if you don't know that side of it. So I know both sides of it. I've defended victims and I've been a victim, and I've also been on the other side of it where I've had to hear and love a perpetrator. Actually, both times I've continued to love the perpetrator, and it's hard, but I've seen both sides of it. So I feel like I am a very, what's the word? Like, I'm pretty level-headed about my decision making when it comes to these issues, because I've been on both sides of it. I've seen it differently. I never thought God would have put me in this situation, but I understand why I went through what I went through as a child and why I overcame it the way that I did when I did. And it prepared me for my life now. Every trauma I've gone through has prepared me to help others, and I get that now. And I remember when I was a kid laying there crying myself to sleep. It's on my video, my email. It's Kristin.Piper2@gmail.com. I definitely want to do public speaking, although I'm terrified of public speaking, but if public speaking could help people, so I'm definitely open to doing public speaking appearances if it can help people and it can be like a subject that would be helpful and bring light to this topic, because we don't talk about it. And I mean, just me talking about it, how many people did you see that was like, I was a victim, I was a victim, I was a victim? And all of those people got to take back some of their power just by saying, I was a victim and now I'm a survivor. And they got to take back just a little bit of their power tonight. And that's awesome. Well, good night, Christine. Thank you. But yeah, like, this is all about people getting to take their power back. And this channel isn't just for me. It's for people to have a voice so that they can be heard, so that they can let go of the things that they hold on to, and so that they can take their power back. Hi, Karen. But yeah, so this is so much bigger than me. It was originally, I started the channel, I'll be honest, because I knew people were going to find me anyway, and I wanted to protect my family. And if I was going to have this air on national television, I was going to tell my side of it, and I was going to tell our story for what it really was, because people always go digging. It's just what people do. And I didn't want my kids out there and people digging and trying to find my family. And so I was like, I'll just be honest and I'll just tell them my heart. And I've always learned in life that if you're just honest and tell people your heart, that usually people will respect that and they'll love you for who you are if you're just you. And so I've just tried really hard to be myself. And I would definitely travel. But yeah, like for me, I was just like, well, I'm just going to do it. So I put myself out there, and some people are crappy. Other people are amazing. I was just reading your comments. Living your perpetrating son has protected him from creating more victims and gotten him help. Yeah, and I honestly believe as long as we continue to love him and show him love and support, that's motivating him to change. If you disown a person and shun them, what at that point is motivating them to change? They've already lost everything. They have nothing else to lose. So standing by him, it's a lot harder, takes more strength, and it gives him a reason to keep fighting. And I believe in God, and I've seen God perform miracles left and right. I mean, God has changed my entire life. So why would I believe that I know something more than what God knows? God is the only one who can determine his outcome and where he ends up. So I just stay strong and stay by his side, and I'll keep fighting. As long as he's fighting, I'm going to keep fighting. Like, we'll keep fighting. I don't know. My mom always asks why people who went through sexual assault are called survivors if they weren't about to be murdered or something. And I absolutely think we're survivors, but I'm not sure how to explain it to her. So Kaylin, I paused for a second because I want to say this with the most respect and love. You don't owe your mother an explanation. And if she can't understand or see why you're a survivor, then I'm confident there's a lot of other flaws she might have within that if she knows you were abused and doesn't see you as a survivor, obviously I have concerns with that. But I'm just going to put it bluntly. You survived abuse, and that makes you a survivor. And if she can't see that or accept that, you don't owe her an explanation. You don't owe her anything. You don't owe anyone anything. You are a survivor. You should know you're a survivor and incredibly courageous and awesome. You literally have overcome a trauma that so many people don't overcome. And the statistics around sexual abuse victims is crazy. So don't worry about explaining it to her. Know in your heart that you're a survivor. And not only that, but you're a badass. And I'm super freaking proud of you. And I love you. The world loves you. There's so many of us who love you. And just keep on fighting and understand that you don't owe anybody an explanation at all, ever. Just know your own worth. Love yourself. Respect yourself. And if you feel weak and you don't have that, come back to my channel and I'll tell you again. I love you. You're amazing. You're a survivor and you're a badass. And I'll tell you 100 times if that's what you need. And that's for anybody who's been a victim and is now a survivor. I'm looking to have a job to be social worker and be a pediatric phlebotomist, blood drawer. I love kids. Oh, Tia, I have so many bad experiences with phlebotomists with my children. Ugh. I literally have had to tell them to get away from my child or I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind. One time, I think it was my son, they pricked him 9 times. 9. And I was like, go get the IV team. Don't touch my kid again. Like, I'm not doing this. He was so little. He was like 2. So Alex, the red flags I talked about in the beginning of the video, I would just encourage you to go back and kind of rewatch the beginning. But I did a red flag video prior, and some people were concerned that my red flags were not red flags. So I went into more depth about the situations that occurred that made them red flags and how I had presented them to professionals who agreed they were red flags. But some of the things are just like being controlling, not being able to handle the word no, just having to be always in power or control, overly dramatic, overly affectionate. Everything was just done in excess. So it goes hand in hand with my first video, but talks about that. Thanks, Matrix. Thank you so much. I love this community. It's a safe haven for survivors. Absolutely, Kaylin. It's definitely a safe haven. You're always welcome here. I'll never question why you're a survivor. Neither will anybody else, because that's not what we do on my channel. And everybody and anybody who's overcome abuse, like, you're a freaking badass. We should freaking wear, like, gold stars. If people only knew what it was like to be a victim and what it was like to take your power back and be a survivor, if only people knew, you know? Yes, so Biomom contributed a lot to many of the factors, but so did the great-grandmother and her boyfriend. They're the ones who made him very entitled and made him in control, stuff like that. Biomom was more physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually abusive towards the girls. When it came to Robbie, she was just more overly protective and coddling. So she treated her kids differently, but she never had any child abuse towards Robbie as a baby, but she did have child abuse cases against both of her daughters when they were babies. One she shook, one she busted her face open right in public in front of people. That's what I found in her hidden file in the filing cabinet. And I don't know how she was able to hide a lot of that. Like, it's still really weird to me, but whatever. Yeah. Okay. What questions do you guys have, or what things do you guys want to talk about before I jump off of here? It's getting pretty late here, and I am emotionally... I didn't even finish my coffee. That's how tired I am. Ooh, you hear the puppy? Let's see if they come in. The cats came downstairs. So now I think the cat and the dog. So it's cute. So the one cat actually likes to play with them. My cats are all pretty big. And so... Oh, he's not happy. Hold on. Where did you get your angel wings? I don't know what that is. Cameron, maybe. Hold on a second. Hey! Enough fighting! Stop it! No, you guys leave him alone. Leave my kitty alone. Okay, decided to bring one of my big babies on here for you. This is Zeus. Say hi, Zeus. Say hi, Zeus. This is Zeus. Well, the cat honestly plays with them, so he was just done playing. But he's a big cat, but this is Zeus. Say hi, Zeuser. He's only 3 months, but this is my Zeusy. He just got a bath tonight, so he's nice and fluffy. Look at all his loose skin, how he's gonna grow. Here's, get the bark buddy they work. I don't know what that is. Here he is. Oh my goodness, but this is Zeuser. He's my 3-month-old puppy. Beep, 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 beep. Look at him. He's a mama's boy, for sure. Where is Athena? Athena! Teddy said, I'm here, Mom. Come here, Teddy. Come here. Come here. Teddy wants to say hello now, too. Little Teddy. He's still drying. He also got a bath tonight. Hey, your collar's not back on. You gotta get his collar on. But this is Teddy. Little baby Teddy. Here's a size comparison. Little baby Teddy. He needs his hair brushed. Say hi, Teddy. Say hi. We have a huge house, so it's like a 7-bedroom home, and the kids are upstairs sleeping, and so they don't hear the loud doggies. That's my Teddy, yeah. So chemical castration is not the answer. I know many people believe that that's the answer. Robbie actually tried chemical castration and it didn't really kill his urge. So what happens when you do chemical castration, it does not prevent people from harming other people. It just prevents them from using one part of themselves. So when you think about that, it's not really an effective answer. And it could also, if there's somebody who like needs to be in control and they no longer have control of an object, because that control was taken away, then you have serious concerns of how far would they go to hurt somebody because they can't control something any longer. And so because they're so out of control, what extent would they go? So I don't really think that's always the answer, unless that's what he would choose, obviously. Yeah. I just answered that, Bridget. Yeah, so basically it makes it so that you can't necessarily, here, Garfield, come here. I was gonna get the kitty for you. Teddy definitely has a lot of fluff. He's only like, I think 10 pounds or something. Right now we're just talking about chemical castration, but yeah, so it's not always a good answer. It doesn't prevent you from still harming other people, or, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to go into great depth or detail about that. Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily take away the urge necessarily. It can help. In his case, it didn't really do that. So it didn't really, it wasn't really beneficial to continue doing it, as it wasn't effective in his case. Yeah, all my little animals are friendly. I was trying to show you guys Garfield, the kitty cat who was running, but he left me. You guys want to talk about something fun that we did today? I posted it on my Facebook, so you can go on my Facebook and check it out. You'll actually see pieces of my kids, not their faces, but little pieces of them. But I also don't get any kickback for this, so before everybody asks if I'm promoting something because I get money for it, nope, sure don't. I pay my subscription. But anyway, as a family, we always do this thing. It's called a Universal Yum Box. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I can definitely, if you want the Universal Yum Box, I will get, I think you get like 5% off your next box or something if somebody signs up. So if you want my code, you can message me or on Facebook or wherever, and I can give you the code for Universal Yum. I don't really know what I get. Maybe I get points toward treats or something. I have no idea, but that's not what it's about for me. But listen, okay. So it's a Universal Yum Box. So every month you get this box. I should go get my box. But anyway, the box is full. So we buy the biggest box because we have so many kids. So if I bought like the little box, they would eat that in like 2 seconds and be mad that there was nothing left. So anyway, we buy the big box. I think it's like, I don't know, maybe like $39 or something a month, whatever. It's super fun for us. So it's our escape, and we get to travel to a different country every month. It comes in the mail, and it's a box full of treats from different countries. So this month, it was not a country, it was a Christmas box. And the Christmas box was full of Christmas goodies that were important to certain countries all over the world. So today we did our Christmas box, and we got to have stuff from like the UK, which also makes me feel connected to my people because we got to do all these really cool treats. Do you guys want me to go get the little pamphlet? I can go get it and tell you what treats were in there in case you're from these countries, and then you could tell me if they're really a staple for your country, because it does make me curious if they're actually a staple. I have dog hair in my mouth now. Okay, let me go get the pamphlet. Hold on, I'll be right back. people, I'm coming. Okay, I brought some of my snacks too. The kids already ate everything else, but there were certain snacks that I liked, so they're not allowed to eat all of the snacks that I like until I've had at least one of the snack, and then I give them the green light to go ahead. Okay, so this is, I have to cover it, but this is the cute little box that comes in the mail, right? So it comes like this, and then you open it up, and it's full of treats. And then inside, you get this little paper. Am I missing something? Okay, we all love each other, and we're not going to offend each other, so let's forgive each other and just move on. Okay, so this year, so this shows everything that was done this year. So January was Poland, February was France, March was Brazil, April was Scandinavia, May was the Philippines, and I'm pretty sure that's when we started this, was in May. And then June was like United Kingdom, July was Thailand, August was Egypt, September was Colombia, October was Russia, November was Italy, and this month was just a mixed box. So this showed like what happened all this year. And then it talks, on this side there's like this little thing and it talks about it or whatever. And then you get a little pamphlet every month, and it looks like this. And then inside it tells you information about countries from around the world. Then you get all these little trivia questions that you get to do with your kids, which is so fun. So like this one said, every year Norway sends blank to the UK. Blue ornaments, an 80-foot tall spruce tree, candles, or money. And the answer is B, an 80-foot tall spruce tree. Pretty cool, huh? Ooh, that's fun. You're Italian. So you would like these boxes. Well, anyway, so you get to answer these fun little questions. So we do that. Then it goes through each of the little treats. So here's some of the treats that were in the box today. And then it tells you about them. So, oh, this is so fun. So you guys would like this box. Okay, so one of the things was a sugar and anise. I'm probably going to say this wrong, but polvoron. It's Spain's favorite Christmas cookie. So this was from Spain. It was horrible because I don't like anise. I don't even know if I say that right. But it says, imagine getting dust for Christmas and being excited about it. In Spain, that's often the case. Spain's favorite Christmas cookie, the polvoron, gets its name from polvo, dust, due to its extreme crumbly ratio of flour, sugar, and lard. One taste and Spain's love for this dusty delicacy will make a lot more sense. In fact, we wouldn't be surprised to see if it was on your wish list next year. I'm glad you guys are apologizing and loving each other. Let's not offend each other. Let's just focus on positive things. Anyway, so that's just like one example. So one of the things I did like is from Scotland, and it's these turkey and stuffing chips. Oh, they're so good. Anyway, they're turkey and stuffing chips. So my kids said I could have these ones because there's like so many things in the box, and I only like a certain handful. The favorite place I got snacks from this year, it was right before Italy. We actually got stuff from Italy. I liked Russia. Russia was good. I do like beef jerky. Okay, and then these came today too. Their design is kind of covered, but they're cinnamon cookies. I don't know if you can see them. They're like really coated in cinnamon, and then the bottom has like white chocolate on them. And they're all crushed now because the baby, little stinker. Let me look on here. Those are, okay, so cinnamon and white chocolate star cookies. It's a Dutch holiday staple. So those are from the Netherlands. But they look like this without the little sticker on it. I don't know if you can see it, but they are so yummy. So my kids aren't allowed to eat those. Well, they are, okay, so they already took half of them, but they're not allowed to eat the other half of the package until I've had some with my coffee. And then none of the kids liked this. Let me look on my little thing here. I have to cheat because I'm not very good at this, remembering stuff. Okay, this is caramel and cheddar popcorn. And it says, don't freak out, but you're holding the key to a year of spiritual harmony. You see, in Chinese philosophy, spiritual well-being is determined by the balance of two opposing but complementary forces, yin and yang. They apply to everything, colors, the year, even flavors. Salty is yin and sweet is yang. With this Taiwanese caramel and cheddar popcorn, it's never been so scrumptious to achieve spiritual balance. So start munching. Do it for your soul. So these are actually from Taiwan. Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of cool, right? So like, yeah. So it's like cheese and caramel. It's the yin and the yang. But anyway, I think it's cool. And then in the back, it's in English, and I don't know if that's, would that be Chinese? I'm not sure. Sorry, Bridget. What happened? When did this become a food review? Well, just now, evidently. But yeah, and then they give you this cute little bag, and it's got all these candies in it. So there was like peppermint in there. There was these amaretto chocolate milk balls in there. There was this really disgusting egg candy. Nobody liked it. Yes, I like pretzels. And then there was an apple cake in there. There was like bite-sized apple cakes. But anyway, yeah. So the Universal Yum Box. It's a win in this house. So we did that today. It came early because of the holidays. It became a food review about 3 minutes ago. I'm sorry that you're vegan. Not everything in there is not. So there's some things that are vegan friendly. However, if you like vegan stuff, I also do another subscription that I can tell you about. And again, I don't get anything for free. But if you want my code to support me and give me a kickback, you can ask for it. I don't really know what I get. I don't know what I get from the Universal Yum Box, and I don't know what I get from these shakes. But anyway, I also do Revive smoothies. They're vegan, they're dairy-free, gluten-free, vegan-friendly. They're pretty amazing. Oh, I was looking for my phone. I'm recording on my phone, you guys. I'm a hot mess tonight. But anyway, those are vegan friendly. I do those. It's called Revive Smoothie. And those make me feel absolutely amazing. I love them. Let me look them up real quick for you. Revive. It's like Revive Superfoods or something. I'll show you the website. Hold on. But yeah, I get those smoothies, and I have lupus, and I swear to you that these smoothies make me feel amazing. And right now, apparently they have buy one, get one free boxes. And I also, if you use my code, I know you get 55% off. I don't know what I get, but I know you get that. Oh, you're from Greece? So let me look. Let me look. I know that we got a box that, I want to say there was something from Greece at one point. Hold on. Egypt, Thailand, Philippines, UK, Scandinavia. Maybe not. Maybe it was France. Okay. So this one's Spain. This one's Netherlands. This one's Taiwan. This one's UK. This one's UK. Netherlands. Switzerland. France. Italy. Germany. Ramadan, Muslim. Where's this from? Where's baklava? It's from Jordan. Czech Republic. There was one. England. Where did you ask me? I already forget. I believe vegan does help autism. My son, when he was a baby, I put him on a special diet, and he did a lot better with it. Need to get going. Good night. They have a lot of like vegan snack boxes actually out there. And they also have gluten-free ones. I can't remember where you asked if anything on there was from. I'm German and Spain. Oh, Greece. Now I remember. Okay. Sorry. My info's in the descriptions. So baklava, this one was from Jordan, and I've had lots of baklava, and I actually really like it, but my husband hates it. Oh, I'll tell you about my smoothies in a second. Let me finish seeing if there's anything from Greece. Okay, Scotland, China, Italy, UK, Germany, Spain. So nope, nothing from Greece. I'd love a Greece box though. Okay, so back to these smoothies. Sorry, I have the attention span of a goldfish sometimes. I remember to breathe. I'm signing in, hold on. Ooh, that's not my password, hold on. Do you guys ever do that where you're like, I have no idea what my password is? And you put in the wrong password like 15 times? Because you just don't know? I really don't know what it is. That's because I sign up and then, what's your password? Don't say. It was the first thing I put in. I must have just typed it wrong. Nestle Crunch isn't bad. Okay, so Rougher and Earn. Okay, so these are the Revive Super Smoothies. Okay, how referrals work. It is, you get 55% off your first box and $6 off your second box. And copy. It is revivesuperfoods.com/ref/106816/. Or you can just put in my referral code if you can see it. That's my referral code. It's PIP106816. But anyway, so these superfoods, that's not why I brought this up. It wasn't to give you the referral code, but that might help some of you. Anyway, so they have these smoothies, and this is one of my favorites, but morning matcha is one of my favorites. And it also tells you down here, it's heart healthy, muscle happy, tummy love, and then it gives you all of like the information about them. But I swear by them. And in this one, there's banana avocado, pea protein, chocolate flavoring, cinnamon, cauliflower, toasted coconut, coffee, and Himalayan sea salt. And you just, so they come, all the fruit is in the cup, and then you just add whatever milk you want. So you can even put water. Greek words are tough. But I put in like regular milk, but I also like oat milk in them, but you can put in whatever you want, like almond milk, oat milk, whatever you want. You can put in water if you don't like milk. And then you just blend them up and pour them back in your cup. And they even have a little straw. If you don't want my code, just check them out anyway, because it's delicious. And right now it's buy one box, get one box free. My only regret with the smoothies was not ordering more of them to start, because I was afraid I wasn't going to like them. And when you get the discount, like the next box, you don't get your discount. So it's just sad. Because you're like, I should have got more because I loved them. I'm going to post on my Facebook with my smoothies. Okay, I posted it. So you can go on my Facebook and the link is there too. But anyway, okay, any last minute questions or anything you guys want to talk about? If not, I'm going to jump off and I'm going to go find my puppies, let them out so they don't have any pee-pee on my floor, so my husband doesn't die. Sarah said I'm scamming the tooth fairy. I must have missed something about the tooth fairy. If a child was too young to remember trauma but knows that it happened, is it the fact that they know they went through trauma that affects them? So the brain still gets affected by trauma if the body doesn't know it was, but the brain still knows it was. So like, say you have like repressed memories that you can't like mentally bring out the trauma, your body still knows it happened. Your brain still knows it happens, and it still leaves an imprint in your brain, and it affects you moving forward. Well, Caitlin, you can put any kind of milk you want in them. But yeah, there's a lot of things around autism that they say with diets. How do you get a cat to stop sleeping in your Christmas tree? Damn if I know. My cats have destroyed... Okay, between the cats and the dogs, I don't even have a tree anymore. I don't even know why it's still up, because only the top half of my lights are working. Athena was underneath a tree. My husband didn't see her, and I left the room for 5 minutes. And just like a baby, she bit the lights, and then the tree went out. So half my lights don't work, so she must have blew a fuse, or maybe she even just bit through the lights. I'm not even sure. But yeah, so I only have half of a tree, and the cats have destroyed the other half. They take I have this ribbon, they grab it and they run with it, the dogs and the cats. And so, I don't know. I have no idea. My animals have destroyed my tree. And then the baby helped them. And the baby takes my ornaments. So they're cute little like squirrels and woodland animals that are fun to chew on for dogs because they're all made out of like wood and like some of them have foam in them. So the baby, the 2-year-old, takes them off the tree, goes over and gives them to the dog, who then instantly is like, oh, thanks for the treat. Nom, nom, nom. And I'm like, I can't. With all you little toddlers running around, like I can't. So I was going to buy all new ornaments for my tree this year, but after that, I was like, I'm glad I didn't do that this year because I would be literally falling apart. This is probably the 5th year I've done woodland animals. I love my tree, but I'm a little bit over it. So maybe next year I'll buy new stuff, but not this year. Nope. Nope. They ruined it. So I have no idea. I don't know how to control my animals. Honestly, they kind of control me in a way. They're very spoiled. But I will say the St. Bernard puppies are very laid back. They don't do anything but sleep. I don't know if I'm just like lucky and got 2 good puppies, but they're honestly just like really good dogs. So I can't complain, really. Anywho, what other questions you guys have? Anything before I go? If not, I'm going to jump off. And then I'm, of course, going to always eat my snack before bed. Don't know what I'm going to eat tonight. I think I might eat a piece of this cookie and drink my coffee before bed. Yeah, I do that. I drink coffee and then I go to sleep. I know it's probably not normal, but it's what I do. You might have to suspend the tree from the ceiling 5 feet off the ground. So I got a tree that was tall. It's big and tall. I thought about just chopping off the bottom half of it and leaving the top half suspended. I actually did think about that, but then I'm pretty sure the baby would try to hang from it and then it would just create a whole new problem. So I was like, nope, I'm just going to leave it half lit, half unlit. It's just going to be what it is this year. Anything else, guys? I hear my husband. I don't know who Little Richard is. Is that a singer? I'm going to go ahead and say probably not. Don't you have school in the morning? He's out of bed. He just walked past me. I don't know any Little Richard songs. Sorry. Trudy Chicky repressed memories. Okay, 2 good puppies. You have 2, yeah. 2 St. Bernard puppies. They're on my Facebook. You can check them out if you want to see them. They're really cute. I showed them earlier, but yeah. Yeah. They're going to have puppies one day. They're lovers. They're not siblings. They're lovers. But, okay, guys. Well, that's everything. Hopefully, the beginning of my video in the middle was at least informative and helpful. Yeah, my brain is really tired, so I don't know if I'll do a live tomorrow. We'll see how I feel. Tomorrow's Monday. I don't really remember what's on my schedule either off the top of my head. But if I don't talk to you guys before Wednesday, sorry. But I love you all. As always, thank you guys so much, seriously, for the love and support. This channel would not be possible without all of you guys. I seriously love and appreciate each one of you so much. Like, I can't say that enough. And that's so important to me to always remind you guys. Ooh, I do like pistachio baklava. But anyway, all right, guys. I love you. Talk soon. Bye.